Hey, good morning, Terry. How
Good
are you
morning.
today?
Oh, it's a little rough today. So,
Yeah, my
yep.
hat's a little crooked too. I know that technology can be your best friend and worst enemy. I don't know what we did with it, and I almost wish we could live without it.
Me too. Me too. Because, like right now, my wife's still dealing with some of it back there for me. She's not too happy about that. So,
About the technology or about you?
about dealing with it. Yeah, she
Yeah.
doesn't, it's just, it's about the phone. Now, I mean, everything happened at once. Not only the internet went out, my computer was goofing up, but my phone service stopped. So she's
Mm.
dealing with that now. So,
This happens when you pay the bills, Terry.
I know
You got to be a little bit less betting on horses and a little bit
a little
more
bit more.
Pacific Bell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we almost caught Sasquatch twice yesterday. We made it through the first two legs both times, right?
Yes, yes.
Then
And
the
then
third one just ran away. Why is the third one so hard?
I don't know. I don't know. And I really should have had it because I I just should have had that because the one that won that third leg or ran second at least was one of my top picks. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, I won my first two legs, just straight up won them, and then the last leg, the horse just decided not to run. I guess not all that bad because mine was 6-6-6, and like I said yesterday, it's if that one ran, I would have felt like I had to go straight to the confessional. But hopefully
yeah,
today, I don't have any kind of numbers like that today whatsoever at all. Yeah, it says the Godolphin horse was tough to have. That's for sure. And yesterday, in the pick four, we missed the 9 and Tom singled the 9. I don't know. How
yeah.
did we miss that one, Terry?
I don't know. I don't know. I looked at it. It looked pretty good. Afterthought. I went back and looked. I said, "Oh yeah, I can see why he liked it." So
Well, they always look much better when they beat you,
that's right.
for sure. So, who didn't get beat a lot this year, Terry? At least at Saratoga.
Was the jockey Saez?
Yeah,
Saez.
Luis Saez, yes, took the right
Saez.
title. When we were doing our Saratoga live stuff, and I was always commenting on horses, not horses, but jockeys that were winning at the distance and the surface, his name was coming up over and over and over again. I'm like, man, Luis is having a fantastic meet. Congratulations on taking home that belt.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Really good
Yeah.
job. 64 wins.
And was it every distance, every surface? I mean, routes, sprints, turf, grass, dirt, mud, you name it. Luis was winning, 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 winning.
He
So
was.
congratulations there. Keep an eye on him. I think he's one of those jockeys that seems to be ascending to me.
Yeah, I think you are right about that. So
And you know what else was big time over at Saratoga, Terry?
was that record handle. It was
Oh
very
my
good.
Lord, it's raining money out in Saratoga Springs. I know that, that's a place where some hot, well-to-do folks go vacation in the summertime. They won't let me in because I was born on the wrong side of the tracks and still live on those side of the tracks. But they generated over a all sources wagering handle of over $800 million, and we keep hearing over and over and over again that horse racing's dead if we don't do A, B, C, D, or E, or even F now. What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's something wrong here because they increased their handle by 15.6%, and they had over 1 million people that had paid attendance for going there. So, it sounds like the newspapers are different news outlets are saying one thing, but what's really happening is that people are going back to the races and they're increasing.
I think it might be, Terry, it's just speculation on my part, but during the entirety of COVID, all the the other degenerates, the gamblers, folks like me, there really wasn't much to bet on. You could bet on weird things like cornholing, where they throw the bean bags in the little square boxes. There were some cornholing contests in some far Southeast Asian countries. You can bet on those. Then Korean baseball came back and people were betting on Korean baseball. But the one thing that was consistent all the way through the pandemic was that there was a horse racing track somewhere that was open that people were able to bet on. And I feel like, if there is a positive to COVID, at least for our industry, maybe a lot of those folks who were betting on horse racing during the COVID, really came to like horse racing and, aren't, bandwagon fans, and maybe they're here to stay.
You could be right about that. I think that, yeah, it probably was a good thing for horse racing because it introduced a lot of new people to it that hadn't probably been involved with it much.
Well, Tom Carley says, of course, Saratoga is going to do well because when you put quality cards, I mean, they did have, to their credit, they did have a stakes race, at least one every single day while they're, and the big tracks are going to thrive. But, the higher competition always is going to do better, Tom. No matter what sport it is, the best is always going to attract the most people. But I just feel like horse racing in general, you have so many negative headlines, but clearly to kind of steal a little bit of your point there, Tom Carley, is that when you put quality together, people are going to show up, right? So the answer is not necessarily, smaller tracks. Maybe smaller tracks should have fewer races, but better races. What do you think, Terry?
I do. I think you're right.
What's your password?
It looks like Terry right now is in the middle of something.
1949.
So now everybody knows your thing, Terry. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about your best bet for the day, Terry. What as he mentioned, he was having some technology issues. So this is live. You get what you get sometimes. And, and what's great about it being live so far, Terry, I have not said anything that's going to get me in trouble yet. So that's
good.
Crazy.
That's good. Well, on the best, Terry's pick of the day yesterday was the Del Mar. It was the 9th race. And I liked the number 5. He ran 3rd, though, and paid $5 to show. And my second pick, Pinehurst, won the race and paid $10 to win, $5.40 to place, and $4 to show. So today's picks of the day is at PARX. It's the 6th race. And I like number 9, Moncherie, has won 2 races in a row at PARX Racing at today's distance. And she has a high percentage trainer, Mario Dominguez, and has the highest last race speed rating in the race. And then number 1, originally from Dot, breaks from the rail post, which is winning at a 23% clip. And she has the best dirt speed among today's starters. And then number 6, Anajetti. Yeah,
and Jetty. Aganetti. Well, let's go with Aganetti. Yeah,
Aganetti, yes. Should improve while returning to the dirt. That seems to be better. She seems to like that better. In addition, she may improve while returning to a sprint.
So that's your race number 6 at PARX. Terry, we probably should hustle right into the 3P because you mentioned you have some horses at the 3P that might be running pretty soon. So let's go ahead and pop into our Sasquatch, something we can't find very often, only once so far. It's very elusive. So in PARX, which race 3 is coming up, you have number 3, Bowtown Cat. Got a little time before race number 6, number 9, Mon Chéri, which I think is a horse that you just talked about. Wasn't that a song from like Stevie Wonder, Mon Chéri Amor?
I think so.
Yes, I mean, it's taking me back to when I was like 4. If I can remember that long. And then you have Presque Isle Downs, number 3, Riverside Walk. So you have a little bit of some symmetrical colors there. 393 blue, then another color blue, and then blue again. So it looks good on the screen. I think that 393.
It does.
So hopefully it looks good in your whatever account you use, Twin Spires, BetUs, TVG, all of them that are out there. For me, I went over to Ohio. I'm like Chrissy Hines going back to Ohio. Thistledown race number 5. The 1A, really into Benny. I love those alliterations. So, and then Classic Mo, going way back to when I was a kid too. Entertained by the television. Larry, Mo, and Curly. Do you ever watch that show, Terry?
Yes, I have.
The Three Stooges?
Yeah, I watched it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, if you have to watch the Three Stooges to understand that, it's just dating ourselves. And finally, Thistledown race number 8, Goose is on the Loose. I guess that's a little bit of a thing from the movie, the movie with Tom Hanks when he was flying, Top Gun. Yes, Goose is on the Loose, if I remember correctly. So I have a little bit of a movie theme to mine. You got Benny Hill, right? The Three Stooges, and then you got Gooses on the Loose. I didn't even realize that there was that connecting theme there till right now. So hopefully that pays off and goes pretty big for me today. Want to catch Sasquatch one more time?
Sounds good to me. I need to do it for the first time.
Oof. The first time is always the hardest time, Terry.
I
After
think
that,
so.
it gets a little less scary.
Yep.
All right. So today we are going to do our fly for pick four at PARX, right? We mentioned that yesterday.
Yep.
Before we go on to our fly for pick four, where are we going to do it tomorrow, Terry? Indiana Grand, right?
That's correct. There's some pretty good stakes races at the end of the day, so we're going to do that. I think it starts with the 8th race.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, some good races tomorrow. I think there's 4 of them that close out $100,000 stakes races. If you want us to show your pick four, go ahead and send it to me at gtsrichb@gmail.com, where you can hit us up on Twitter or Facebook at Racing Radar, and just go ahead and put your pick fours there, and we'll bring them up live. Tom sent his in today, but unfortunately, his 2 picks on both the hot dog and the prime rib pick 4 scratched, so we can't unfortunately bring his on. But I can tell you the rest of his picks. Maybe he can let us know in the comments who he wants to substitute for race number 1 or leg 1. All right, Terry, let's get started. Race number 7 at PARX. Today, before we get started on this, Terry, I got to say, for me, looking at these races after coming off of Del Mar, coming off Saratoga, coming off to Kentucky Downs, these horses aren't quite the same quality as we've been looking at.
No, they sure aren't. And there's some really big scratches today of horses that were, my first picks in a couple of the races and looked like they were kind of standouts. And that kind of makes it wide open day. So we may have a pretty good chance to get a good payout on a pick 4.
Well, for me, I just kind of went because a lot of horses were hard to pick. So to be honest with you, so I pretty much went straight trip handicapping today. I looked at the distances. The turf races got moved to dirt. I think they're all routes, at least a mile long. I think there's 2 that are a mile and 2 that are probably at a mile and 70 yards. Yep. Both of them both distances on the dirt tend to favor speed horses. So I really just looked for horses I thought that might get to the front, and then other horses that maybe one other pick where maybe something new has happened where that horse might come to life. So it is not, like I said, the most outstanding crop of horses that I've seen. Let's get started in race number 7, Terry. There's going to be a really heavy favorite in here. I have no doubt about it. That's number 5, Peyton Elizabeth.
Correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, you don't want to get beat by that horse, but at the same time, I want to beat that horse.
Yeah. So she actually is my first pick because she has a high percentage trainer and switches to jockey Frankie Pennington, and she'll improve because she's returning to dirt. She drops in class today. She has the fastest dirt speed among today's starters, and the jockey trainer combination the last 14 days, 9 starts, 4 wins, 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question this horse is going to be the favorite.
Yep.
But I like I said, I want to beat it because I have a feeling this horse is probably going to be under 1-to-1 odds. Mm-hmm. So looking through the field, the only horse that I really thought had a chance to beat the horse is number 3. That's Cloud Skipping. Mm-hmm. And again, as I mentioned, I did just straight trip handicapping, pace handicapping, and I feel like the 3 horse has the best early pace numbers in the field at the distance and surface. It can get to the lead, and 32% of the time, the horses that get to the front at a mile on the dirt at PARX start in the front, end of the front, and end up in the winner's circle. And I feel like the only horse that can probably get to the front and beat number 5 is number 3, Cloud Skipping. Do you see any others that can beat the 5?
I think so. Number 6, Thrilling Baby. That horse can either run on top or come from behind. So I think she ran a good second versus similar in her last race. And that was after a 2-month break. She has a hot trainer, Louis Lender Jr., who in the last 14 days and 13 starts, 5 wins, 4 seconds, and a third.
Should we do something really silly and take the 5 out to spend money elsewhere? I mean, I want to beat it, but I suppose I don't want it to beat me either.
No, I'm concerned about taking the 5 out, but we could do that if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't want to get beat by it and have us win, have a shot hit later on in the race. So, all right. So race number 8, Terry. Number 3, Legal Group. Again, I look for the horses I think are going to set the pace early on, set the tone from the race, from the jump. And I think Legal Group is going to be the pace setter. Get out to the front. And again, number 3, and have a shot to bring them from coast to coast. And this is coming off a mile, I think, and a 16th on the turf being moved to dirt. So I guess it's probably going to be run at probably closer to a mile and 70 yards, which is a more standardized starting position for them. And under that circumstance, I think 3 does get the lead.
Yeah, he ran second in his last race at PARX Racing at today's distance, and he has jockey Rubens Silveira, who's won 35% of his races so far.
Mm-hmm. And who do you like as your top pick?
That was my top pick. So
number 3?
Yep.
Oh, good. Who's your second pick?
Number 11, American Ninja. He's 1 for 1 at PARX Racing, likes the turf, can handle the distance, has Paco Lopez in the irons, who has done the following 36 races, 16 wins, 4 seconds, 4 thirds, 44%.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to overlook Paco over there at PARX. He's just about every single time it seems like he's on the horse. He's on a winner. Looking for a little bit of a long shot. I didn't have the 11 actually in my pick. So, and the reason I didn't have 11 in my picks, I think he scratched. So I think
is he really?
Yeah. So let's if you can take a quick look at that. I think he's actually out of the race.
Okay,
so I had written him down as scratch, but let's just double check to make sure. In the meantime, I like number 4 over Bold. Not the greatest looking on the paper, that's for damn sure. But one of the things I like is they paid $500,000 for the horse, and the horse did flash speed off the break last time out and has since been gelded. So sometimes when they, unfortunate, I can't imagine they spent $500,000 on a horse and then hope to, to snip them, so to speak. But sometimes that first time gelding can settle a horse down, and that's like first time Lasix can be a good angle. I know from talking to jockeys that they said they prefer sometimes the second time off of being gelded or second time Lasix, but did flash speed last time out, first time off a layoff on the turf. I think if the horse can continue it can improve in race 2, which it has done on its resume in the past. The 4 horse at 20-1 morning line could maybe sneak to the lead and maybe steal this race as a first time gelded.
Yeah, that I think so. Yeah, and you're right. I looked, and the number 11 was scratched. They did that at 10:29 a.m., and I had looked at the scratches
at 10:28.
Yeah, well, about 10 minutes before that. So,
what other horses do you like there?
Okay, I like number 10 in equality. He likes PARX Racing. He's finished 100% of the time in the money, winning 50% of those races. He drops in class today and likes the turf.
Yeah, I didn't have the 10 in my picks, but we need to go a little bit deeper in this race, I feel like. So the only other horse that I had on mine is, and I don't know, is Ashad. The horse did show improved fractions last out, which I like. Is dropping in class, which I like. I think that could be a benefit. And did, in the past, flash some really good early pace. So if he can just go back one race, the race prior to his last at Penn National on the slop. So the last time he cruised across a fast course, got to the lead, stayed on the lead, and ran away from the pack by about 4 3/4 lengths. So for me, that would be my last choice.
Yeah, I like that. It's my number 4 choice. So that's a good one.
All right, so we kind of maxed out on that race. Maybe we can come back if we decide that we want or we're shallow somewhere else. Race number 9 is another race that's on the dirt. This one didn't have any scratches, Terry. So
no,
and I feel like there's some good horses in this race. So I'm not good horses, but I think like 4 that kind of stand out. Again, I'm looking at horses that are going to get to the front at 1 mile and 70 yards, where something like 34% of the horses, a little bit more than 1 out of 3, have won wire to wire. So speed kills at PARX. Might as well find fast horses. I'm looking at number 9. Factor this as a horse that Jamie Ness, you hook him up with Pennington. That horse, that combination has won 8 out of 18 together at PARX, which is kind of hard to ignore.
That's true. That's 9, number 1 pick too. And he has a real good early running style that helps his chances. He should improve at the shorter distance today, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters.
Well, he's tried this distance 3 times and he's got 2 W's at it, Terry. So I do like that. So I expect that you'll see that horse at least, give us a good shot, good chance all the way around. Coming in from Delaware, where last time out he did flash some speed. Go back 1 race to 1 mile and 70 yards at PARX, got to the, basically was second by a head right out of the gate, and then just went and won by 3. So I'm hoping Factor This and Frankie Pennington can repeat that ride 2 races back. What's your next choice?
Number 6, Superhighway. He's done the following at PARX, finishing 100% of the time in the money, winning 25% of those races. He has trainer Felix Flores Coba, who in the last 14 days with 5 entries has 2 wins, a second and a third.
All right. And then do you have another horse that you like here?
Number 8, True Boldness.
Boldness, yes, True Boldness.
Yeah, he has won 1 race. He's 1 for 1 at today's distance and has won 6 races at PARX in his career. He has won 2 races out of 6 starts this year.
I agree with you on the 8 horse, Terry, because again, as I mentioned, we trip handicapped this one. I did, and pace handicapped it, and it looks to me like the 8 has the best early pace figures in the field. I expect when the gates open, you're going to see the 8's nose in front of everybody else. And hoping he can keep that nose in front of everybody else from all the way to the finish line. Grab that flag, right? What is it called? I forget, the checkered flag. And then, put us down as a winner in race number 9. I also like number 7, American Roma. Paco Lopez, again, you kind of can't miss that jockey at PARX. He's won, as we mentioned, something like 44% of his mounts, which is out of 36 races. That's just off the charts and unignorable.
That's right. And America Roma has 56 starts at PARX. He's finished 48% of the time in the money, winning 11% of those races.
He's a little old horse. Sometimes that's why I put him at the end, because he's a little bit on the elderly side. And I know I'm nowhere near as fast as I used to be.
Yeah.
The mind can still do it, but the feet can't, folks.
Yeah,
It's the unfortunate thing.
Yep.
All right, Terry. So race number 10 is another one that had some scratches, 2, 5, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some opportunity here, too, to maybe steal a race on the lead. So I'm going to start. It's not my top pick, but I'm going to start with a long shot. Number 1, Just in Time. If you look back at that last race, last time out, the horse ran on turf. Now it's switching over to grass, right, which is a surface switch. But last time out, for the first time in a long time, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races, it's the first time the horse showed any interest in being on the lead. And it got to the lead at 1 mile and 70 yards on the turf at Penn National, carried it almost all the way to the finish line. I feel like today, when you look at that and those numbers, improved for much, and I mean much, improved fractions last time out. A lot of times when you see those fractions improving, that's the sign of a horse getting in better shape. Think about it yourself. Like if you jog, for example, like I used to. But when you jog, sometimes, like I used to run 3 miles, and I would always kind of look at how long it took me to run. The better a shape I got, the faster that time would be. Seems to me that just in times, those last fractions indicate to me Just in Time is a horse that's rounding into shape.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that sounds good.
Okay. So what's your pick?
Number 4, Pearly Queen. She's won 2 out of 4 races this year and had a good career, finishing 66% of the time in the money, winning 33% of those races. She should improve today while returning to a route.
Okay.
I also like that she shows a lot of early speed. So, and she also had trouble in her last race. So
she had lots of problems, huh?
Yeah.
And then in race number, any other horse that you like in race number 10?
Number 6, River Sonata. Today's distance is where she does the best, and she's dropping in class today.
All right. So that's a nice horse there, too. Let's go ahead and take a look at, I don't know what happened just right there. So that was number 6, you said, right?
Yes.
River Sonata. And then any other horses? So I agree with you. These are the 3 horses I think that are probably going to be setting the tone out of the gate. And in the event speed doesn't hold up, there was only one closer in the field that I kind of liked. And that's number 9. Camera Latina or something like that.
Yeah.
But I also like it's the only horse that's actually working out right now.
Yeah.
So does have by far the best late pace number. So if the 1, the 4, the 6 get to the front and can't hold the front, and the 9 is able to ride maybe mid-pack, a couple of lengths off the lead. Does have the late pace kick to go ahead and run by any tiring closer. And the 1, the 4, the 6, and just about every other horse in this race has shown that they do lack some stamina at the end of the race. So that could open it up for a horse that does run a little bit better as the race comes to a close. And to me, the only one is the 9. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. And I like the 9. Jockey Louis Rivera has in the last 7 days won 40% of his mounts.
All right. So there you have it, Terry. That's, again, I think our $96 ticket, right? Because it's 3x4x4x4.
Yep.
And I'm hoping, because of the scratches and the track changes and all that kind of stuff, that maybe we can catch a couple prices in there. I know I threw a couple prices in there in race number 8 with the 4 over Bold the first time gelding, and number 1 in race 10, the horse that flashed speed for the first time in a while in its last race on turf before switching to dirt here at PARX in the turf race at Penn National. Sound good? Look good today, Terry?
Looks great. Yeah, I like
Fantastic.
it.
Let's see if what we picked for our hot dog picks. Real quick, our hot dog picks for Terry. As there you can see Terry's hot dog picks, and you can see my hot dog picks. I have Terry singled the 5 in the first leg, and like I mentioned, I want to beat that 5, Terry. I know it sounds jealous. I'm not jealous, but sounds bad. But I absolutely want to beat that horse for sure.
Yeah,
then,
I agree with that.
Real quickly, Tom Carley's hot dog pick 4 was 3-6 in race 7. Race 8, 3-6-7. Race number 9 is the 3 and the 5 on turf. But if it's off turf, he wants the 3, the 4, and the 9. So it's off turf. And then race 10, he's got the 6 and 8. On his prime rib ticket, Tom Carley has the 3 and the 6 in race number 7. 3, 5, 6, 7 in race number 8. And the off turf race, 3, 4, 5, 9 in race number 9. And again, in race number 10, the 1, the 3, the 6, and the 8. So those are Tom I Love Carley's tickets. I didn't really have a chance because of some technology issues to get everything printed up today. So wanted to make sure I read those out. And I will include them on the Horse Racing Radar website, where we will have the picks and the podcast and everything else up on the site momentarily. Anything else today, Terry, before we roll?
No, I just got to get my electronic stuff all fixed up.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, no, just everybody should have a great time. Although, if you like us, then you should go to YouTube and follow us on Twitter. At YouTube, you should give us a thumbs up. And on Facebook,
if you like us. We can't tell you this. We cannot tell you. Us, but
we're not going to tell you.
But if you like it,
but
right,
if you do it.
And at Twitter, make sure you follow us on Twitter. On Facebook, give us a like. That's how they rank these things. On YouTube, so if you can't give us a thumbs up, we appreciate it. If you can give us we don't want the thumbs down, but if that's how you feel, go ahead. We're not going to stop you from that, and we can't. But just it does help us move up the rankings, and the better up the rankings we go, obviously, the more people become aware of the show. The more people become aware of the show, the easier it is to pay the light bills and all that sort of good stuff. So we got a nice link from Darren Friesen. Thank you, Darren. We appreciate that. One thing you can do today, too, if you want, over at Horse Racing Radar, another free gift today. They do have free picks every day for every single track. So you can see the first couple of races. Head on over to the free picks section at Horse Racing Radar. Click on whatever track you like. And if you do hit some winners, maybe you might want to take the full day's card as well. Terry, that wraps up another great day of horse racing today. I look forward to tomorrow. Again, if you want us to include your pick 4, make sure you hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, or my Gmail account, gtsrichb@gmail.com, and we'll include your pick 4 tomorrow at Indiana Downs for the last 4 stake races. Sound good?
Sounds great to me.
Sounds great to me, too. We look forward to it. As always, folks, we hope you have nothing but good luck at the races and that all of your tickets end up. Where do we want their tickets to end up, Terry?
In the winner's circle.
Absolutely. See you in 23 and 3.